Sometimes learning a new language is easier when you've decoded some of the acronyms used to shorten the names of tools and features in a product. Let's demystify some of the acronyms used in Genero and discuss the important terms they represent. BDL is the Business Development Language and refers to the language used to write Genero programs. Some refer to BDL as just the Genero language. DVM is the Dynamic Virtual Machine. The Dynamic Virtual Machine is a highly efficient application server that executes your applications and manages database interaction and communications with client platforms. The DVM is the hub through which your program runs on any supported platform. The DVM is also called the runtime system. As you can see in this picture, the DVM is the hub through which your program runs and connects out to communicate with all parts needed to execute your program. GDC is the Genero desktop client. The GDC is a required thin piece of software that resides on the end-user workstation. It is the front end. It renders the application for each client and communicates with the DVM. There are lots of flavors of GDC, whether your front ends are Windows, Mac, or X11. You can also deploy the GDC through an ActiveX plugin we call GDC AX or GDC ActiveX. The GWC is the Genero web client, which renders your application in a web browser and allows you to fully customize your Genero application for web deployment. GWS is Genero Web Services, or the Web Services extension. It allows you to exchange data with other applications using standard protocols. Genero supports both producing and consuming web services. XML is tagged text. It stands for Extensible Markup Language and is a specification for creating custom markup languages. Genero uses XML technology in several components. As you can see here, some XML representing a part of the form. DOM stands for Document Object Model. DOM is also a standard from the W3 Consortium that allows for manipulation of XML in memory. XML that is read into a Genero program becomes a part of a DOM document. A DOM document is hierarchical, like a tree with branches. Each branch represents a node. The nodes each have attributes or characteristics that can be modified during runtime by using methods available in the Genero language. The abstract user interface, sometimes referred to as the abstract presentation layer, is simply the Genero DOM document representing the user interface. Because it is represented as a DOM document, it can be interpreted by any Genero client and rendered in that operating system. It's the full definition of the user interface that your program can work with to add, delete, and modify parts of. As you can see in this example, the Orders tab is represented as a page node in the abstract user interface tree, and the attributes for that particular node can be modified using methods in the language. The last two terms to decode are SQL and ODI. SQL stands for Structured Query Language and is used to send and retrieve data to a relational database. When writing a Genero program, you'll write standard SQL within your program functions to request data from the database and to send new, update, or delete requests to it. ODI stands for Open Database Interface and represents Genero's use of native drivers to provide support for simultaneous access to multiple databases, including Oracle, DB2, MySQL, Informix, GeneroDB, among others. This concludes our video on demystifying the Genero terms.